which is my third finger? What happened to my third finger? Yeah. Did you see there was a little bit of confusion? Yes or no? Now, do you see there is a small twist in your body? Small twist. And how your mind got confused? Small twist. You just twisted your hands and mind said, ये मेरा ही शरीर है क्या? Yes or no? When this is in union, when the body and the mind and with the whole universe, everything is in union, that is yoga. Unfortunately, we somewhere only restrict yoga to what? I can stretch my bodies. I can be more flexible. It is the flexibility of everything. It is, I think, one word which you can summarize every single thing. These days, if you'll see how so much research is happening on the older technologies which the ancient Indians possessed. And now there is so much science which is giving evidence to that, yes? Now we'll be all surprised that, they calculated the value of pi till 32 decimal places. There was no calculator. Yeah, they calculated the distance between Earth and Sun to 10 decimal places. There was no calculator. There was no telescope. How did they do that? And this is where, because when you are in this unison with your own self and with the greater, like how Dr. Saab said, in this, the universe, the Brahman, then this completeness which happens is yoga. And I think we all have done yoga in some time. As a child, we have all done yoga. All kids, have you seen, they automatically sit in yoga postures. Like for us, it is tough to sit, but we have all sat in those postures. It is somehow we were born yogis, but then we thought, okay, this is not a good time to do. And now again, we are coming back on International Day of Yoga to, okay, how can we become yogis again? Yeah. So this unison with yourself, with your mind, with your breath, with the body, and with this greater consciousness is yoga. And there are tools and techniques, and I think this is the best part about this tradition, that you can follow anything. There is no one way. It is not like how there are so many, if you follow this, then only you will reach there. You do whatever. You can do Raj Yoga, you can do Gyan Yoga, you can do Bhakti Yoga, you can do Karma Yoga, whatever you feel like. If you do any one thing, you'll reach to the goal. So according to me, that union, that feeling complete. We have all, do you see, like you have your own zones where you are like chill out? Yes or no? For some of you it is Netflix. For some of you it is PUBG. For some of you it is playing TT. For some of you it is listening to music. Yes or no? Yes, and you feel, wow. Has that happened? When that can happen again and again with every single thing, I think that is yoga, according to me. Yeah? So, my definition.
Thank
Okay?
you so much. Thank
You're
you. You made us do the yoga to experience it. Now, over to Sahil. He's our own alumnus and doing great with his creative enterprise. So, you have been a student here. I mean, you have listened to the different perspectives. Did it ever happen during your time here that you came across yoga, either version? And now, how do you look upon it once you have graduated?
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti. So it's great to be back here. I was here from 2010 to 14 as a student, and I can see some of my favorite professors here in the hall. So it's truly an honor and privilege to be speaking at in this panel. Definition of yoga has been wonderfully said by all the three other panelists. As a student, we were active in organizing some activities around meditation, yoga, and as part of the art of living movement and some other social activities here. But there was no structured wellness club that time. So it's great to note that we have a club now which is spearheading a lot of yoga activities on campus. What other people have said, I would just like to pick up from where Avinash ji ended and mention that yoga should be seen more as a philosophy rather than being restricted to what we do with our body, because it's much beyond the body. So actually yoga's definition itself is moving beyond the body. So if we restrict it to asana yoga, we'll be having limiting benefits of yoga. In context of what we are celebrating today, the International Yoga Day, I would like to mention that now this is not only about providing peace and bliss to an individual. Yoga as a philosophy has permeated and entered and being seen as a solution to global problems. You were mentioning some of that. So when Indian government proposed, when India proposed in the United Nations to have 21st June as International Yoga Day, we had 177 other countries as co-sponsors, and this was one of the unique proposal which went unobjected by any country. And I think first to sponsor this with India was China, which is usually not seen as a good friend of India. So that's the kind of acceptance yoga is getting worldwide, not just for an individual's health, but if we read the UN Charter or the UN resolution on International Day of Yoga, it says yoga for health and well-being, that's one part, and peace and harmony. So that's a very important dimension that the world is recognizing of yoga, that this is a concept, a philosophy which can provide us global peace and harmony. So we should also see yoga in that light.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So now we have heard about your perspectives in yoga, and maybe I can start back with you. When you're saying that there's so much of acceptance and there is definite benefits of it and there's a scientific basis to it and this is an experiential thing, how do we establish it as a science? What are the methodologies? Because you're a physicist. I mean, I think you will be we look up to you to answer this question if it's possible, because there are individuals who at some time undergo some kind of an experience and feel there is something in it. But when you apply too much of intellect and arguments to it, then you let it fizzle away and say it's not provable. It is not validatable. And therefore, it is not a subject of science. So sitting in a scientific institution, how would you suggest that now that it is becoming so popular and 177 countries are accepting, this means there is an acceptance, how do we develop it as a body of knowledge beyond what the scriptures have given so that it becomes more acceptable?
So I think I'm too young to comment scientifically on this, and our professors would be much more experienced to develop this as a science. But what I would like to mention is that since this is so experiential at an individual level, codifying it and saying that X leads to Y is very difficult here. So maybe we'll need to run mass level experiments to be able to come with a macro data and say what kind of impact yoga has. So I think till the time we have invested in those researches, we'll not be able to comment. And as a country, as a society, as an institution, as a premier institution, we must invest in doing that kind of research on society, where we have a population which is practicing yoga for a certain period of time, and then we are able to see the result. But not just science, I think we should also see it as logic. So even if this is not established as a science in the academic parlance, can we see it as pure logic that when we are in union with ourselves, it automatically leads to peace because we are not attached to anything else then. So logic can be another interesting angle to look at yoga.
So if I may sum up one thing, you're saying that there could be longitudinal studies where individuals are subjected to these practices,
Right.
and then we see whether there are any changes happening. And on the other hand, you're saying that till that happens, there is no need to give up.
Yeah.
There is something that every individual can be,
Yeah.
But still, maybe I can ask Mr. Avinash, you have been organizing lots of such workshops. That's what you've been doing, And you must have faced lots of challenges in communicating, convincing, because what looks logical to some of us may not be logical to some others. How do we develop? Because science has brought us that unification, that what is logical to all. It's validatable knowledge. So how do you see in your perspective?
I have been a person who was absolutely averse to the yoga way. I thought yoga is for the people who are doing nothing in life. It's for the people who are depressed, who are not well, because I thought I'm playing sports, I'm doing all the things which you should be doing as a student, and I'm cool. But I think the Oriental, and this is where the Oriental and the Occidental approach comes in. Like the Oriental approach says, you experience and then we'll find the logic. But the Occidental says what? I need the logic first and then I need to experience it. And this is where the yoga has really, because of the experience it has given to the people, that is why it could break all the logics. It could break all the so-called boundaries of caste, color, creed, religion. And that is why, because anybody who's breathing, I think can do yoga. Isn't it? Anybody who wants a better body, better mind, is wanting to do yoga. So this is where the experience part is very powerful. Interestingly, now the whole scientific system is also kind of publishing papers. Every single day there is on my Facebook feed, or there is somebody that, Harvard Medical Public School published this paper. In Norway, there is a research which is happening in yoga. So I think it is catching up. And I think always, because like if you'll see on a normal way how our system is, so we have these 7 levels of existence. The first level is body, which is the most gross level. The second level is breath. The third level is the mind. The fourth level is intellect. The fifth level is memory. The sixth level is ego. And the seventh level is the self.